I am nothing without Jesus. Family, welcome to day 51 of our 90 Days of Winter Challenge. I want to give a little bit of my testimony. We're day 51 into this entire series, and I feel like I haven't really give you guys a really good backstory of how I came to Christ. I preach the word, I give y'all the truth, I show love to you guys, and you guys are probably wondering why I do it. So it all starts back when I was 14 years old, right? I didn't, I was stuck in this very room, just glued to the TV screen. Big gamer, had addictions. I was drinking on my dad's alcohol bottles. Um, never really go outside. My face was all puffy, had long hair, acne like crazy. You could probably say this is probably growing up too, but I matured over the years. I mature over time. So my grandfather, he's been in church longer than me. He's been in church for over 10 years, and so this church down the street that I don't go to, but he attends. He told me, he was like, "Hey, do you want to go to a summer camp with me?" And because I'm a youth leader, so I might want you to come so I can maybe make some friends and stuff like that. And I was at first he asked me about 5 different times on different days. I said no, but I feel like 2 days before, um, like 2 days before the camp was planned out, I said yes. I gave in. He asked me in the garage when I was coming out. He's like, "Hey, you want to go church camp?" I'm like, "You know what? Yeah, I want to go church camp. I won't mind getting out. I'm over here playing Elden Ring, Red Dead Redemption all day. All these video games. So, um, anyways, I gave in. This is 2022. So here am I, packed up. Don't know any of these kids from the church, by the way, and they're not even kids. They're senior, juniors. Some of them already graduated, and they're already 18 years old. And here I am, 14 years old, ugly. Don't know any of these people. Very insecure, and I'm going to be on the bus for 6 hours going to from Florence, Arizona to Camp Pondo out in California. Next thing you know, this oof, going to that camp changed my life. When I was on the bus, I made two friends already, a kid named Leo and a dude named Tyler. And man, throughout the days, I got to know these kids. I got to know the friend group. Eventually, they took me in. Eventually, they're like, "Hey, can this dude Jojo, can he bunk with us? Can you move from this cabin to this cabin where we all hang out and stuff like that?" And my grandfather was there, and he looked at me. He's like, "Do you want to do that?" And I looked at them. I'm like, "Yeah, I do want to do that." And they took me in. Now, I wasn't a believer. I didn't believe in Jesus at all. At the time, I was more like an atheist, kind of. I had no knowledge of it. I didn't even care about it. I didn't care about the spiritual life. I was a big metalhead, so I hear lyrics from metal songs and I apply it to my life. Like if I heard, metal songs always talk about bad religion half the time, so I'm over here having the mindset that religion's bad and I shouldn't do anything with it. I didn't know. But they planted the seeds. For almost a week of that camp, they planted seeds in me, which would grow and sprout over time. Eventually, when summer camp ended, I love these dudes. These dudes were like older brothers to me, so I wanted to hang out with them more. And the only way I could do that is to go to church. So I started going to church. I started attending youth nights on Wednesdays, kids jam, and then Sundays slowly started becoming a regular routine. And then when I wasn't my next step was not only just hanging out with them, getting to know that, but I started working in the production crew because they was in the production crew and I was hanging out with them. So that means I had to play a part too. So this dude named Colin, great guy. If he ever watches this video, Colin, I love you so much. Thank you so much for letting me at least play with the soundboard or help me learn slides and learn the camera. Anyways, he helped me learn the production board. He helped me learn how to navigate the cameras throughout Sundays. He helped me through soundboard on Wednesday youth nights. Eventually, I came best friends with the slide machine or the slide computer, for the background behind the worship band or behind the preacher. So I started involving myself with good people, good brothers and sisters in the faith, and a role to attend for the church. If I wasn't going there for the message, which I wasn't, I didn't care what the preacher had to say. I didn't care for the worship music. In fact, now I would have my hand up, my head bowed, both hands up, just straight worshiping now. But back then, a couple years ago, I was just straight faced. I was like, so I didn't care for any of that stuff. But what I did care is for my friends. I did care for some reason. I care about production because I was like, this could be a job of mine in the future. So I started doing all that. I started getting involved with my church. The next thing do you know, 2023 comes around. I take a little break from church for a couple months. Come back though. What's up, family? About the third week there on the youth night, I see this beautiful woman, and this is where the love of my life walks into my life. We met at the church. I didn't speak to her that youth night. I had to wait a whole another week for another youth night to happen for her to show up because I wanted to talk to her, but a group session was running late, so I couldn't talk to her. So I met her, and I still love her to this day. I mean, it's a very complicated story what happened between both of us. Mainly her mother was, to put in short terms, her mother hates me a lot, and she doesn't believe in what me and her daughter believe in. And last time I heard from her was just about 6.5 months ago. Last time I felt her and touched her last time I hugged her was July 24, 2024. So, and we're in 2026 now. But I'm still waiting for her. That will be another story for another video. But now I met this beautiful girl who I've been dating for over 2 years now. I didn't know that at the time, but she was my first major crush. So I get to know her, I get to talk to her, and now I really have to get to start going to church, get to church early, make sure I hang out with my friends, and then spend some time with this girl that I just knew. She just came in, she just moved from Oregon to Arizona like 2 weeks ago, so now I have purpose to go to church now. Was I still a Christian? No. Later on that year, we started dating in June, and then probably once early November, late October, I believe. I was chilling here one night in my room, and I'm watching just random videos. Eventually I started watching this Joe Rogan episode because I don't mind watching Joe Rogan. And then I come across this episode. I believe it's episode 1930. It has Adam Curry on it. I think that's how you say his name. And this guy was at the age of 58 years old. Big conspiracy guy. He wanted to talk about Christianity. He was an atheist. He dug so much information trying to flip Christianity around, saying this is a hoax, this is a conspiracy. And this is a guy that does conspiracy theories on everything in the world, including 9/11 and all that crazy stuff, But the more research he did, the more he fell in love with Christ. He eventually became a Christian at the age of 58, I believe. So he's talking to Joe Rogan, and he's like, to tell you the truth, dude, I'm gonna keep it real. This dude exists, and here am I. I've been in church for over a year and a half now around this time, and I'm like, man, what is this? I get into deep thought about it. I can't explain to you. Maybe my believers and my brothers and sisters in the faith can explain it better than I could. But there's this feeling that's it's not natural. It's unnatural. It's out of the world feeling. Maybe this is a divine feeling. I personally believe this is the Holy Spirit of God entering the human body. But the moment I heard that and I really started thinking, like, so if this dude Jesus Christ did live, He did breathe. He did die for me. Then what have I been doing for that? What have I been doing in my life to prove, or not to prove anything, but just to not to accept him? What have I been doing? I start getting teary eyes. The emotions are hitting me. I feel like in a way, like I feel extremely grateful for what he did to me. Like, oh, Jesus loves you. He died for you. I took that to an extreme. Of course, I heard this all the time, but that feeling, those words turned into a feeling. This man died for me to still live in sin all my life until now. That's when I gave in. I'm like, okay. I'm crying, tears running down my face, and I'm like, okay. I'll try this Christianity thing out and see if I like it. Over time, eventually I grew more and better with it. Of course, this is one thing to new Christians. You may feel on fire with Jesus the first second. A couple months down the line, you'll start burning out. I wasn't on fire for Jesus. I wanted to attend church more and start taking that a little bit seriously. But um, over time, ups and downs happened, but I never lost my faith. In fact, my faith grew from that point on forward. I was still a big sinner. I still didn't really fully converted yet. Like I was still like doing my own thing, but eventually I would start praying and then start knowing him. Especially with my girlfriend already being a Christian way before I was. She got baptized when she was 12 or 13 years old, and I'm 15 at the time. She's the same age as me. I'm thinking about that stuff. I'm like, it might be a little weird. 2024 comes down the line. Big drama that's going on in my life right now. My girlfriend, her mother broke me and her up. So what I decided to do is, since I couldn't even talk to her or see her anymore, I became an amateur boxer. I wanted to start attending church more and more. And then eventually I got baptized. September 15th, I got baptized, and it was an experience. It was awesome. It was crazy. If you're a Christian, if you're a brand new Christian watching this video, I recommend just signing up at your local church, or talk to your local pastor and say, hey, dude, I want to get baptized. I want to get dunked under the water. And listen, I know it's cold right now. It's January, but let me tell you what, they have heated water. Okay, they got heated water when they dunk you in. You won't be too cold. They'll give you a towel, and they'll make sure that you're warm afterwards. And I got dunked on the water September 15th, and still then I wasn't still taking my faith seriously. I was still just goofing around with people who weren't from the church, who were, I kind of fell away, stepped back multiple times from church, did my own thing, realized when I'm trying to do my own thing, I realize, doing my own thing gets me nowhere. So it's just a back and forth thing, basically. And then I look at the youth of today, and I look at myself when I was younger. I don't want y'all to miss out on good years with Christ, because I've grown so much just from knowing him. When a lot of day one people that I've seen from church, or who I've been with on that church camp back in 2022, the first thing they say to me is that, dude, you've grown. We watched you grown over time. The long hair, it got turned to short hair. The face got skinnier, and there's no more acne on it. Now, sometimes there is, but that's just because of bad health. But my face used to be loaded like pepperoni pizza, dude. They're like, your attitude. You were like this kid, his head down all the time, antisocial, long hair on the face, and then talk to everybody in my church now, loving everybody, everyone from all ages, from kids, teenagers, old people, standing with a good posture. Everyone says I got a good head on my shoulders. I'm looking forward to some good things in life, and really I couldn't have done all of that. I couldn't done all of that without Jesus Christ. I couldn't. If I didn't go to that church camp, I don't know where I would be. I probably would have eventually gotten arrested by hanging out with drug dealers in my neighborhood. Or just somehow just getting in trouble and just ignoring just the signs and just not taking them for granted. But I'm very, just to this day, I'm thankful that to my grandfather, who watches my videos, who's my number one supporter on here, that, I'm thankful to you that you invited me to church camp. It changed my life. And now I gotta be an older brother to the faith for these kids. These kids who are growing up, who are at my age, maybe younger, maybe a little bit older, but I got something to look forward to. And it's great. Man, I wouldn't have done any of it if it wasn't because of Jesus. So family, we got church on Sunday. Getting emotional. We got church on Sunday. Tomorrow is Sunday. And we're gonna worship. We're gonna attend there for 6 hours straight. Or 6.5. And I'll give you guys a better video than my sob story of a testimony. I'm sorry. I just gotta beat myself up really quick. But guys, I love y'all so much. I really do. But Jesus Christ loves you way more than I do. God bless you. Take it easy.